Hey, I got an interesting conversation on YouTube with a few readers about the use of word punishment, which I use quite often in my videos, and people kind of blame me for that and saying that we should not do that. We should not use the word punishment. We should not punish people because it's wrong. Instead, we should encourage them to do more work, to do better work, and we should basically not blame programmers for mistakes. We should not stop them from experimenting, because punishment is a negative thing. When you punish a programmer, then the programmer loses the motivation, and so on and so forth. I spend so much time defending my position every time, so I decided to record specifically the video about that, explain what I mean by punishment. So there are two things which completely have to be separated, and clearly we need to identify the border between them. What kind of mistakes need to be punishment and what kind of mistakes absolutely should not be punished. So the first category which we shouldn't punish programmers for is the functionality bugs. That, I think, is a terrible mistake if we punish a programmer for the bug we see in the software code. Functional bug, usability bug, whatever kind of bug is there should not be a fault of a programmer. Absolutely not. There shouldn't be even the process of finding who put the bug there. Even the idea of attributing a functional program to a programmer is a terrible management mistake. Programmers don't make functional bugs. The project makes them. The pipeline is broken if the bug goes to production. If we lose sensitive data to hackers, it's not the fault of people who are responsible for making the software. It's the fault of the pipeline, of the fault of the testing system, the fault of the infrastructure which we built in order to prevent that kind of mistakes. But we never should even try to find who is responsible for that, not even trying to punish or reward for something like that. That's the first category. The second category, which absolutely people, I believe, should be punished for, is, for example, let's say when somebody is required, everybody, let's say in our project, is required to, let's say, put the right commits, the text commits, to the messages we post on Git history. And somebody, one person, doesn't do that, doesn't comment his commit messages. We should not punish for that? Shouldn't we find those commits and say, look, this is your fault. We have the discipline, we have the rules here. And it has nothing to do with your creativity. It has nothing to do with your motivation. You just break the rules. You just are not a disciplined programmer. And this is the right moment to punish you with whatever instruments and means and methods we have. Or, for example, let's say we have a meeting every Friday where we discuss this and that person doesn't show up for the meeting. This is the kind of behavior which absolutely has to be punished, isn't it? And we shouldn't say here that programmers are creative people and it's going to destroy their motivation if we punish them. It's just a lack of discipline. Or, for example, we have the rules for the quality control in the code. And every time you submit a pull request, then we expect you to follow the guidelines for the style of the code and for formatting of the code, for checking the code. So you're supposed to deliver the code at certain level of quality. The rules are defined. There's a paper on the wall written there and saying that all the static analyzers have to green the green light. And one programmer doesn't do that. Every time the code comes from this guy, it's always full of style mistakes. So obviously, clearly, that guy, no matter how talented he is or not talented, delivers the code with a low quality. I'm not talking about functionality bugs. We don't care about that, but we care about the quality which is expected from each programmer being at the same level. And one guy breaks the rule. Shouldn't we punish for that? I think we should. How? That depends on the project. So that's clearly two categories. I don't see any problem. I don't understand why we even need to be afraid of this word punishment. It has to be part of the management. We have to reward people for the good behavior and we punish for bad behavior. And just talking to them and encouraging people to do better job is not going to work in all cases. Some people, they're going to listen for the first time. You tell them, look, there are rules and you are expected to do it, to follow the rules according to like everybody else. And some people are going to listen, but some people don't listen, and they exist, and there are many of them out there. There are many in each team, people who fall out from the standard procedure of writing code and being disciplined developer. So what do we do with these people? We somehow find an instrument of punishing them, and then other people should be rewarded for following the discipline. That's what I'm preaching for finding the right instruments for rewarding and punishment for the mistakes in the behavior, not for functional mistakes. Absolutely not. You never punish programmers for the broken product. You never punish them for the leakage of data to hackers. This is not the fault of individual programmer, definitely not. It's the fault of a project. That's a different instruments of punishment should exist there, but for projects, not for individuals. I hope I made it clear. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.